script. I'm gonna mess up.
Yeah, I have my script up here so I don't forget.
It's funny, my glasses has this big reflection, but I'm glad.
Yeah, mine does too. I can see that. I don't know why. I think it's my light here.
Okay, Marion, we're getting ready to go on live, Marion.
Okay, so I'm here.
Okay, here we go. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to City Town Talk. My name is Brother Fonz, and I am your host this evening. I'm using Zoom conferencing application while streaming it live to my Facebook page. The purpose of this is to bring people of interest to the forefront of our community. Our guest for this evening's Zoom conference is none other than two of Chester County's commissioners, Marion Moskowitz and Josh Maxwell. I want you all, to feel free to leave a comment or type in your question as we go along. Before I bring on Ms. Marion Moskowitz, I do want to let everybody in the community know that there is a citywide health curfew, and this is for immediate releases, a press release from the day, and the curfew will be going from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. Now, I will have this press release on my Facebook page, so I want y'all to go to my Facebook page and get up to date with all the new stuff that we got going on. But right now, I am so excited that Miss Marion Moskowitz, who has turned out to be a friend of mine outside of the political or servitude realm, she's really a good friend and a good person, and I want to introduce y'all to her so she can tell you about her vision, her input, and if you have any questions, we have it right here. You type it in, and we're going to bring it to her. And let's just welcome Miss Marion Moskowitz. All right, yeah.
Thank you.
Come on, Marion, talk to us.
Hi, it's so great to be with you again, because the last time I was with you live was on your stair steps when I was running for office, which was a lot of fun. Here, I don't have to take my shoes off though, but it's fine. It's all good. You are such a powerful voice in Coatesville. Your work with the school district and now as a strong community leader. And as a county commissioner, I am so grateful because we don't find many leaders to step up like this. So thank you, Fonz. I think we all owe you a great debt of gratitude. I'll talk to you about a lot of things that are going on. I know that Commissioner Maxwell is going to talk afterwards. So I hope I can give you a little insight into various things. But the first thing that I really want to speak to you about is COVID-19, or what's called coronavirus, because we are all dealing with it right now. And I know there's a lot of misunderstandings and rumors. So I would like to give you the facts. And I know you've had Assistant City Council Logan on, and he gave it to you too. I'm just going to reiterate it because it is all too important, and I want to share with you. So first, let's just understand what it is. Coronavirus is a virus, and it's a respiratory virus, and it's one that is highly contagious. So it means you can spread it by touching something, by coughing, by sneezing, by just talking to someone if you're close enough. And so the goal is to separate. That's why we use those terms, distance socializing and socializing by distance. You need to stay 6 feet apart from each other. And that is important because our body lets out fluid from sneezing, coughing, talking. And if you are 6 feet apart, you won't receive any of those germs, thereby keeping yourself from getting coronavirus. Now, coronavirus has a lot of different symptoms. It can be anything from a cough, a minor cold. You think you have a cold and you could have coronavirus, to having chest pain, to having breathing problems, all kinds of things that you would not expect. But the issue with coronavirus is when you get a fever and it's 99.6 degrees or higher, or you're having trouble breathing, then you need to call your doctor. And you need to call your doctor and get a prescription to go have a COVID-19 test. Now, if you don't have a doctor, I would encourage you to call our health department and they will help you. And that number, and I'm going to give these to Fonz so he can post them, but the health department's number, it's very important, you should keep this with you, is 610-344-6225. And so they will walk you through to see if your symptoms fit in the category of getting a test, and they will help you get one. Now, if you have coronavirus, you may not have those extreme symptoms. So if you're feeling ill of any form at this moment in time, you should really be quarantining yourself. You should be staying at home, not interfacing with other people, wearing a mask if you have to go out. But if you are sick of any kind, please stay home because you could be highly contagious. And I'm not a doctor, so I'm not giving you medical advice, but I really want you to be very aware of your symptoms. It's just really important. Now, the county commissioners expect everyone to wear a mask when they leave their homes. We absolutely want you to wear a mask. And the purpose is not to protect you, but the purpose is to protect others. So if you're having symptoms, you're not going to be sharing those germs with other people. We also expect you to keep social distancing. And this means, again, that you're standing or sitting at least 6 feet apart. When you're any closer, as I explained, you could have a problem. Now, as of today, there are 9 cases in Coatesville of COVID-19. There are no deaths, and there's nobody hospitalized as far as I know. But the cases are starting to accumulate. So we need to be extra vigilant. And I know that this curfew was put in place today. And I'm really grateful that it was to keep people from being outside at night or anytime during the day and being too close together, because we need to protect you. We care about each and every one of you. I may not know you by name, but I care about you. And I don't want you getting this. So you need to listen to the rules. It's really important. And I'm grateful for the city council, the city manager, and the assistant manager for putting this in place. I think it's just really important right now. I know you've heard this before, but I'm going to say it again. We want you to stay home. We want you to wash your hands for 20 seconds at least with hot water. We want you to practice social distancing, and we want you to be extra vigilant in cleaning your house. Use a disinfectant, something with 99% alcohol if you can. So that's Clorox or things like that. Wipe your surfaces, wipe doorknobs and things as a way of protecting you. So that is coronavirus in a nutshell. Now, what we're doing for coronavirus, you've all heard of this testing. There are 2 types of testing for coronavirus. The one that you hear a lot of because it's being done in some of these drive-through sites and in the hospitals is the swab. And that is actually a Q-tip with a medical Q-tip that goes up your nose. And it will tell you if you currently have coronavirus. And they will tell you what to do with that. There is another test, though, that the county is looking to do. And the county has purchased what are called antibody tests. They're rapid tests. You read them in 15 minutes. And our goal is to do this to the community in tiers. So right now, our first tier and our priority tier is the prison and Pocopson home, our long-term care facilities, our police and fire, and our healthcare workers. That's our tier 1. It's quite a large tier. Those we are able to do with partners, such as hospitals or our prison labs. And we eventually want to do community-wide testing, but we're waiting for certain paperwork before we're able to do that. But our goal is to test the whole community in Chester County. And the antibody test will tell us if you have had the coronavirus, then you have formed an antibody which will take care of the infection in your body. And it could mean that then you won't get it again. So you can go out, not without your mask, but you can go out, you could go back to work potentially. And that's what we're trying to find, how we can restart the economy and get people back to work slowly, methodically, but very carefully, because we don't want you going back to work and getting sick. And then we have to start this all over again. So it's real important that we do it in a very thoughtful way. And that's what we're trying to do. So we are going to test the community. We are waiting for some approval papers yet from the FDA in order to do that. But we are proceeding, and we will keep you informed when we're ready and able to do that. We hope it'll be very soon. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is stimulus checks. That exciting new check that's coming in your bank account.
Oh, yeah.
Some of them today, right? So just a couple things about that. So any adult who earns up to $75,000 per year will receive $1,200. Any married couple who make up to $150,000 a year will receive $2,400. And in addition to that, for every child you have, you will receive an additional $500. Now, you'll receive these funds either directly to your bank if you file your tax return online, or if you mail your tax return, you'll get a check by mail. You can, however, if you don't want to wait, if you file your returns by mail, you can go online to the stimulus website and fill in a form, and that will allow them to directly deposit your check. So you can get it sooner if you want. These checks are not taxable. You don't have to worry about paying tax on them. You don't have to worry about paying them back. It is money that's given to you by the government to help sustain you over this period of time. It's a one-time only check, but it is a nice thing when you're not able to work, so it helps. The other thing that you're entitled to is unemployment. And unemployment, they've done an amazing thing, I think. They, on top of what you would normally get, they're giving you an additional $600 a week. Now that'll last 13 weeks. So for those that are unemployed, or even owner operators, people that own their own business that had to close, they're eligible to collect it. So you need to make sure that you're up to date on all the things that you're entitled to. You could go on the county website. There's a lot of great information there. I encourage you to go on and explore various things that you may be entitled to. And I know Commissioner Maxwell is going to talk a little bit more about some of the other services that you can receive. So there are a couple other things. One is voting. And I know I always like to talk about voting, because if you want to have a say in who runs your government, who runs your federal government, your state government, and your local government, you need to vote. There's just no question. I know Fonz talks about this over and over and over again. Voting is your power. That is the power that you have. Now, I don't want you going to the polls and standing in line for the primary, which is June 2nd, because I'm really concerned that this virus will spread. We are able to mail you ballots. If you go online to the Chester County Voter Services, you can fill out an application right online. It is a piece of cake. Anybody can do it. And they will mail you a ballot, and then you can mail that back. It is so much easier and safer. So I really, really encourage you to take the opportunity to do it. And if you have any questions, look at Voter Services, send an email to Fonz and we'll get it. Maybe Fonz can actually post that link on his Facebook. If you have a page, right, Fonz? Do you have a page?
Yes, I certainly will.
Okay, so we'll give you a couple numbers. We'll put that together for you so people can access it. And the last thing that's really important is the census. So this is the year we take a census once every 10 years, and that determines the county's population. And with that determines what kind of services and dollars we get to offer services to you. So filling out that census form is critical to what we can offer you in the community. It takes about 8 minutes to fill it out. And you've all probably received cards and a mailer with a number on it. And you just go on that website, put in that number, and they ask you a couple questions. 8 minutes, you're done. And we have you accounted for. And it's very important for us to be able to receive funds to help a community even more. So those are the things that I wanted to cover. I guess I just want you to know that we're working very hard to make sure that our community is safe. We have had the lowest number of cases of all the surrounding areas, and certainly the lowest amount of deaths, but we have had some. And so I need you to take care of yourself. I need you to take care of your friends, your spouse, your family, your parents, but do it at a distance, because we don't want this spreading. We want to contain it the way we have it now so we can get our lives back. Maybe a little different, our lives, than what we are used to for a little while, We're still going to have to practice social distancing, but it's all for a good end, because if we stay safe and healthy, that's all we want. So with that, I guess, Fonz, I'll open it up to questions if they have questions, or if you have questions.
Yes, I certainly do. Now, first of all, we have a one young lady who just typed in. She said, "Where did you say to contact to get direct deposit
So if
to get
for
direct
the
deposit of their stimulus check? Where do they?"
so yeah, so on the federal government's website, I will send Fonz the link, and you can go on there and fill it out. I'll make sure Fonz has all these links. And
Because we work good together. Okay, now
yes, or a
this is
team.
something that we've always talked about. We've talked about this very since the beginning in regards to training for good paying jobs, because that's one of the biggest situations we have here in Coatesville is
I
that
know.
there's no training for us to be eligible for these jobs that's going to come in for the redevelopment. So can you help us in regards to that and tell us a little bit about that?
So I know that within the Coatesville community itself, we know that there are some options for new developments coming in. I've heard about a sports center and stuff, and they'll all bring jobs. What I would personally like to do is have a training, have a union job day where you can come and learn about the training that the unions offer, the building trades, the electricians, there are all kinds, the carpenters. And we have to work out a day. I had planned that, and then the coronavirus came and everything
Yeah.
stopped. But that's certainly on my radar, and I know I've talked to some of the unions, and they're excited about it too. So we're going to put this together when we can all be together again. I think there'll be a lot of jobs opening up, though. A lot of people are going to be hiring when they start to come back. So hang tight. There are jobs that we have a website on the county called Hire One, and it's on the Economic Development Council as well, and that'll tell you what jobs are available. So you're going to have to look around, but there are jobs out there, or there will be once we get back to work.
Hey, look, I have something here from Pastor Connie Dutton, a good friend of mine. She said, "My card was misplaced. How do I get another one?"
What kind of card? I'm sorry.
Connie, what kind of card is that? Could you type that in? What type of card is it that was misplaced, so we can get an answer for you on that one? And we'll stand by for that. Okay, now, what's our next one? Do you have any information in regards to those that are suffering from food shortages? Is there any kind of universal, local food banks or anything of that
Yes.
nature?
Yes, and I know that Commissioner Maxwell is actually going to talk about that, so I don't want to steal his thunder,
Okay, well,
but he is going to talk about that. But there are the food banks and things are open, and they are supplied. So we will get you that information. I know Commissioner Maxwell is going to talk about that.
Good. Now I'm going to see if I can get back into Connie Dutton. My card was misplaced. How do I get another one? Let's see what other questions we got. Okay, this is from Wendy Whitaker, who's just fresh off of a Super Bowl a trip.
Oh, wow.
Just early this year. She said, "Is it a myth that the 2021 tax season, the stimulus money will have to be repaid? Will that money have to be repaid from the stimulus?"
That is a myth,
Wendy.
It does not have to be repaid. It's free money.
Okay, there you go. You heard it. Okay, Connie Dutton said the census card. Someone says my internet is
Oh,
unstable.
the number. Oh. Well, that's a good one. Okay. Well, I will have to find that one out. I'm going to write that down, because there is the Census Bureau and there are census groups here. So let me find that out for you. I will definitely do that. Census card, the one with the number, I assume.
Yeah, I already sent mine in. I did my census card, and I also already mailed in for my ballot, because ain't nobody playing with them.
I mailed in for mine.
Me and my wife mail in ballot, no excuse. I recommend everybody within the sound of my voice, as Miss Marion said earlier, get those mail-in ballots. Do you understand? A lot of people in my community believe that voting isn't important. But if voting wasn't important, why would the opposite party spend billions to keep you from doing it? I mean,
That's
this
an
is like a
excellent
no-brainer. It's
point.
like, it's a dumb moment. If anybody's paying millions of dollars to keep you from doing it, you ought to want to do it because there's something special about it. If you don't believe anything else in the world, and I know I've heard it all, my vote don't count, I don't care, it don't matter. Well, if it don't matter, right now we're walking around with masks on our faces because of something that started with one person in Washington, one infected person. If it was taken care of in the beginning, contained it, we would not have this widespread infection that we have now. That's why it's important about voting and who you have as a leader. Hey,
Yes.
Marion, I'm scared to touch my face now.
Well, you should be. I don't want you touching your face, Fonz.
I mean, come on. 4 years
As
ago,
much as
I
I
could
love
touch
that
my face.
I don't want you touching it.
This is so crazy.
I know.
4
But
years ago,
voting,
huh?
voting, you can't complain about things if you're not going to vote because that is the power that you have, right?
And you have to use it. Let me see. Okay, Jackie Alameen, your girlfriend says she has been phone banking,
Jackie.
help people get those mail-in ballots, and we're going to preach that to the
Fabulous.
choir until the cows come home.
And now, and I understand, I heard today.
Is there anybody else out there that has some questions for Marianne? Now, any other time, if I'm on Facebook, they got a whole lot to say to me. Let me see.
I just heard today that the state is sending out cards telling you how to get an absentee ballot to every voter or every home where there's a voter. So everybody will be receiving that information. And I know Jackie will spread the word. She's fabulous.
Yeah. Now, and you said they're going to be sending it to, they're going to be mailing it to the resident?
Yes. The way I understand it is any household where there's a voter.
I mean,
good.
Okay, here goes a question from a young lady who we go to the same church, Claudia T. Palmer. She says, Fonz, do you think at some point in time, everyone in this county will be tested for the coronavirus? How will we know for sure who is infected since you don't have to have symptoms?
So that's the antibody testing that I was talking about, and that will tell us if you have had the coronavirus and now you are free. You have the antibody, so you won't get reinfected, at least for a period of time. We're not sure how long, because it is a new virus that came from China, one that's never been here before, and there are different strains of that virus. But if you have the antibody, that means you are good to go. And that's what we, the county, are going to test community-wide. If you have the symptoms, there is like a 7-day window where you have to go and get a prescription for the swab test. That's a different test. So yes, we are planning to test everybody. But if you haven't had it, then you are susceptible to getting it at the end of the day.
Okay, Marion, I have a very special friend of mine here, Nelson Ojeda. He says, so how are you giving information to the Latino community about everything? It's very important.
It is very important. And we have been putting out everything in Spanish as well. If you look on the county website right now, I think we have 7 languages on there. But I also have an administrative analyst who works for me that's Hispanic, and she translates a lot of things for us. So if there's something that you see that is not translated, we will translate it. But she did translate even our town halls that we've had with the community and with the business community. They are on the website in Spanish. They're translated.
You heard that, Nelson. She's right on top of things. There's my friend Samuel Anion. He's watching from Philadelphia. Now, let me ask you something, Marion.
Yes.
Where do you see Coatesville in the next 4 or 5 years? You have a vision of who we can be and what we can be and where we can go?
I am so excited about Coatesville in the next 4 to 5 years. I have watched Coatesville since Bill Chertok was there with the furniture store, because he was a good friend of mine. And he always told me that Coatesville was this just special community. and he embraced that community. Then somewhere along the line, the economy, hurt everybody, and we kind of lost that sense. But it's clearly back. The community sense is back. You can feel it. It's in the air. And I feel so much excitement and new opportunities coming your way. It's all going to take a little time. And I know you've been patient or not so patient and waiting. And I get that because it's been a long time and you've had a lot of promises there. But I see a very bright future for Coatesville. I'm really excited about future. And I think that all the county representatives, I know all of us commissioners, we want to see Coatesville rise, and we want it to be prosperous, and we want to walk around with those great T-shirts and
Coatesville
share
rising.
in that excitement. That's right. And so I do think that it is Coatesville's time, and I think in the next 3 to 4 years, there's going to be a lot happening. It's going to be very exciting.
Okay, so now let's go off the beaten path a little bit. Let's talk about it. You got elected. Has this been all that you thought it would be, or what have you found to be the most challenging part of your new job now that you have a real job?
Well, I mean, it was only 1 month into the job when we were told by our health department that they want to watch out for this coronavirus coming from China. And I never thought I would have to deal with anything like that. That has been a real crisis situation early on. And we're still learning the job. Josh and I are still learning the job and dealing with the coronavirus as well. So we're getting a real indoctrination. I think the rest of our term should be easy for us after this, getting through this. But, I'm a people person. So I love to be around people. And that is the best part of this position and this job, is that I get to see people all over the county, from the farmers to the people in business and industry to community leaders like you. And it's just a wonderful thing. I mean, how many people get an opportunity to go around a county of 522,000 people and just meet them and listen to their stories and learn where they came from and who they are? That's really exciting for me. I'm really excited every day.
I hope that the community can one day hear part of your story, part of the story that you shared with me at Double D's while we ate some of the greasy food down there, about your origin in Kensington, Philadelphia.
Yes, I was born and raised in Kensington, right at K&A.
It's like that song about New York.
That's right.
That K&A, come on now. Everybody from Philly, y'all know what we're talking about. K&A.
No, K&A.
Oh my God. That automatically told me that you were a different type of person. Because sometimes you can tell about a person from where they came from and how they are where they are right now. You haven't forgotten your roots. You haven't gotten too uppity and anything like that. You're approachable. That's why you're my cup of tea. I'm telling you. Now, wait a minute. No, go ahead.
I think that when you grow up in an area like that, you come out of that area 2 ways, right? You're either very bitter and angry because of the way life has treated you, or you decide you want to change that for everybody. And I took that path. I want to make life better for everybody.
Now, let me hit on something that's my favorite initiative, not my MTDC's favorite initiative.
The pool.
The pool. Because the pool for me represents more than just water. It represents an activity that our children can once again get into. Families can do it together. And when you're in a distressed area, somewhat such as we are, these are the things that create the memories and bond us together. So how do you feel about that? Where do you see that as an importance in our community?
Oh, I think it's very important, just like the community gardens and the park. I think all of that's important. I think it does, as you said, it builds community. There's nothing like getting together at a basketball course or a pool when you're in a city and you have no other means of doing those kind of things, and getting together and sharing moments and experiences, teaching kids how to swim, which I think is critical. There's a lot of community spirit that comes from an area from a place like that.
Good,
I
that's
never
good because
had that. We
well,
had an
believe me,
alley, but we didn't have a pool.
well, in Philly, we have water plugs.
We did, the fire plug.
Fire
That's
plugs,
right.
man.
That's
That's
right.
all we got. I'm scrolling through here to see if anybody else has any questions, because I can talk to you all day. Is there anything out there anybody would like to say to Miss Moskowitz before she leaves? Because you got about 3 or 4 more minutes. Is there anything you would like to share with the community, Marion, before you leave? Any
Just
words of
that,
encouragement or anything
yeah.
else?
I just think that Coatesville is such a special place. And I think it's the next place to rise and find its way. And I want to be there to celebrate with you. You're going to do it yourselves. It's not going to come from anybody else, because community builds from the bottom up, internally, externally. And I believe, this is just my belief, that in order for a community to be successful, really successful, it has to work from the bottom up and the top down, which means the top down is the money being put in, businesses getting started. But the bottom up is that community spirit, those things that you can't bring in from the outside and money can't buy. And so I think with that spirit and with the business community working together and all these things that are going top down, the two are going to meet in the middle, and it's going to be wild. Just
Good
wild.
stuff. Good stuff. I appreciate you, Marion. I want to thank you for allowing us into your home, your library. You read all those books.
No, they're a mixture. My husband likes one style book. I like another. My son likes another. So we have a lot of books.
I want
But
to
I'm
thank
so
you for allowing.
grateful.
Oh, I'm just so honored that you allowed us to come into your home this evening, and you spared and shared some of your time with you. So I want you to have a good day, and I will be texting you and talking to you and everything in the near future. But I want you to have a good day, and I want to bid you good night.
Thank you, Fonz. Thank you, everybody in Coatesville. You're awesome.
All right. Let's see now. I don't know how to get you off of here because oh, there I am. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm still here with you. Until Josh, when he's going to come on in about 2 or 3 more minutes. So if you have any more questions, hang around, don't go anywhere, because he's got some things that he wants to talk about as well. But let me go into this citywide health curfew while I'm waiting for him. It's effective April 15, 2020 from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. The city of Coatesville will implement proactive emergency measures in the form of a curfew to address the spread of COVID-19. Now, you remember last week we said that there was one person that was infected. Well, let me tell you, now it's 9. When they were talking about masks, washing your hands, and all these things of that nature, it was serious, because if you remember, in the month of March, well, actually January the 20th, there was one person that was infected in Washington, the state of Washington. And now over 30,000 people have died. Infection is almost 750,000. The last time I looked, which may have been yesterday, it was 660 some odd thousand people had contracted the disease. So when you think of one not being much, one is actually the start of many. That's why you have to stay in as much as you can, keep that safe distance, wear a mask, wash your hands, you got to do all that. We have to take it very, very serious. Because I know I rode through town today, once again, and all up and down the street. And it's not just reserved to one end, east and west, all through town. You see a whole lot of people that haven't taken it serious enough yet. You have 9 people. Now, out of those 9 people, who all did they contact? Who did they touch when they didn't realize that they had it? They had that problem. So look, I want to say that we have to be careful, and we have to really do that. And I see my next guest is here, Josh Maxwell. Let me see if I can click onto this. Here we go, my man. Let me see, my man Josh Maxwell. I see his name, but I don't see his face. Josh, there's his face. There you go. Mr. Maxwell, how are you doing today, sir?
Good, Mr. Newswan. How are you, sir?
Man, I'm good. You know, this is something new for me. And this is the first time, well, I've only used it twice. And this is the first time I've had multiple people on, and it almost worked seamlessly. Got a little nervous, but it's almost worked seamlessly. So I got you here, man, and I'm excited. And the people that have been waiting are excited. Tell us a little bit about yourself and just jump right on and tell us what we need. And we have a few questions for you, but let's go over some stuff.
Sure. First off, you look great, and I'm glad you're having me on. You have wonderful plants in your home, and I'm jealous. I just have like this blue wall, a map of Philadelphia.
Yeah.
You're all decked out, so it's good to see how the smart people are living. You know, I know you spoke to our chair Marion earlier. We're just trying to keep as many people safe in Chester County as possible. So that's getting protection. Personal protective equipment to healthcare providers, people working at nursing homes, folks at the prison, folks at the cops at home, police officers, firefighters, EMTs, folks like that, as much as possible, and trying to get more tests to Chester County. We are faring a little bit better than our neighbors in Lancaster and Delaware County, Montgomery County, and Philadelphia right now, but it takes a community effort to keep that momentum going. Right now we have over 600 positive COVID cases in Chester County. I know quite a few in Coatesville as of the past week. You know, so far we've lost 20 lives to this pandemic, and that's a tragic situation. And our thoughts and prayers are with the families of those folks. And as a community, we're all committed to doing everything we can to try and end this pandemic as quickly as possible.
So let me ask you. I see on here you were saying something about nonprofits that are distributing donations and nonprofits that can help our community. Can you just talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So I'm part of a United Way in Chester County, and they're providing grants to nonprofits throughout Chester County. I know the Brandywine Health Foundation also has a funding stream set up that they're raising money for. Food pantries like the Chester County Food Bank, Westchester Food Cupboard, Octor Area Food Cupboard, and the Downtown Lord's Pantry have the capacity to provide food to individuals. A lot of organizations, Meals on Wheels, United Way I mentioned, the Chester County Masketeers have masks that they're sewing and getting out to people. And as I mentioned earlier, the Chester County Food Bank is the resource to make sure that everyone in Chester County has food right now, and they're staffed up and accepting donations, and I think doing a terrific job getting that stuff out.
So now on here, you were talking about government support programs for individuals that are unemployed, and we know a lot of people are unemployed about right now. What can they do? Where can they go, and how can they do it?
Yeah, so for unemployment compensation, the website is uc.pa.gov, and they have an opportunity to apply for unemployment compensation. This applies to gig workers, people who are on 1099s as well, and the state just started implementing an additional $600 through the federal government, I believe it's the CARES Act as well. Additionally, the Pennsylvania Career Link website is www.pacareerlinkchesco.org, and they have job postings for organizations that are hiring right now. And there's a lot of companies that are doing things like food distribution that are looking for people to help, and that's a good resource. They provide employment recommendations, financial counseling, training, education resources, and real-time job posting, getting people connected to employment. There's also the United Way Financial Stability Network, which center that can be found at unitedwaychestercounty.org. They do free financial consulting to residents, goal planning, budgeting, those types of things. And also Hire One, which is www.hireonecc.com. They have a task force and a list of employers that are currently hiring. A lot of that type of stuff is available right away. We did our first town hall on Monday, telephone town hall, to talk about some of these resources and making sure that everyone who's looking for employment knows the jobs that are available right now. And anyone can call 211 and be connected to services.
Well, before you go any further, it looks like good. So for you listeners out there, I want you to replay this so you can get the information that he just shared, because that's very important. So this will be on my Facebook page. Just keep replaying that. But right now, Josh, you do have a fan club out here that I'm seeing right there. First of all, Carmen Green wants to thank you for the grant to CYWA. Of
course, we love the CWYA, and they do a fantastic job. And Carmen, it's good to hear from you. I hope that you're safe and healthy.
And now, Miss Carrie Arvilla Hunt. She said, "Good evening, Commissioner. Thanks for sharing with everyone." Carrie, she's a member of our city council.
Hi, Councilor Hunt. I hope you're doing very well. Excited to work with you on helping to improve Coatesville. I know you guys are steadfast in bringing economic opportunities to the city, and looking forward to seeing how the city is working with the RDA to make those things happen and finding ways for the county to support your efforts.
I know one thing. I don't know if it's my internet is making it hesitate every once in a while. I don't know if my internet is unstable. But anyway, Miss Iris Holmes, which is a good friend of mine, she said, "Are most places hiring, or are the jobs temporary during the pandemic? Are they temporary, or are they permanent?"
Well, it's both. Right now, there's Chester County is a place that has a decent amount of economic opportunity compared to some other folks that are being hit a little bit harder. But both those things can be found on the websites I mentioned. And Fonz, I just emailed you all that information, so you can copy and paste it and post it to your Facebook if you want.
Okay. Cool beans, cool beans. Okay, Demaya Joe Alex. Now that's 3 names. That's unbelievable. She said, "How about people needing rental assistance while waiting on unemployment/stimulus check? Is there any assistance out there for a person like that?"
For mental health?
No, it said rental assistance while waiting on unemployment.
That's a good question. The best place to find out that information would be to call 211. That's a county number that will get connected people. It's like a catch-all for employment, financial help, mental health, rental assistance, anything like that. 211 is the place to call and get connected to where you need to be.
Good stuff, good stuff. Now, let me ask you, Josh. Now, first of all, let me give a little Okay. Let me give a little backstory about who you are, Josh. Josh was one of the original members of MCDC, the brains behind the group. He wrote the bylaws and the whereases and the resolutions and everything like that. So without him, in the very, very beginning, there's no way we would be where we at right now. So I want to say thank you from myself and from the rest of the members for all that you've done. Who knew that was going to be a springboard to bigger and better things? Look at you now, right?
Well, Fonz, that's very nice of you to say. I will just add that, you are the advocate for the community, and you do a great job, and my job is to help in any way I can. And if I support you, then I know it's going to do a lot of work, good work.
Wait a minute. Okay, here's my favorite Latino. Nelson Ortega said, "We would like the pool open so that we can have a Latino pool day, maybe a Latino pool day every year." Nelson, he's one of your favorite fans too. He's our Latino connection.
Yes.
Let's see. Now, here's a lady named Holly. I think it's Holly Cheris. I'm not sure, but she said, "Hey, Fonz, can you find out if people that get SSI will get some money?" Some money, huh?
So Social Security from, I'm assuming she means from the federal stimulus where they're sending every taxpayer
I would think
$1,200, and she will receive that check.
Okay. Okay. Here goes a question from Patricia Munilla. I'm going to read it. It says, "Hi, I don't have an ability to comment on the live stream. Could you please add to your list of questions if not already there? How are they going to reach folks during this time of distancing that do not have access to internet or are not internet savvy in regards to mail-in ballots and COVID-19 benefit information?"
Right. So we just connected yesterday, folks in Coatesville, to our what's called a reverse 911 system. So the goal here is that people will be left voicemails and messages on their answering machines, their cell phones if they have them, on how to access this information. And I know that folks like you are utilizing social media opportunities like this to get the message out, and I think that goes a long way as well. But the county's just started talking with the city of Coatesville about how we can utilize the reverse 911 system to make sure people understand the services that are available.
Here's your question. Other than the virus, which I know has consumed your the time since you've been in office, what have you found to be the most challenging thing so far in your new position?
Really just understanding the complexities of, there's financial constraints. Like imagine like you take over this bureaucracy and all of a sudden you have like a $50 million problem. And if you don't solve it quickly, people's health is going to be at risk or they might lose their lives. And so you have to find a way to get money in the door and get it out as quickly as possible in terms of protective equipment, tests, COVID tests, antibody tests, food, rental assistance, job opportunities as quickly as possible. So it's like we went from like a 5 to like 105 in terms of the things we needed to do quickly, and moving all that money, those millions of dollars, through the government and out to people who need it, I think was something that we had to learn as quickly as possible.
Good stuff. Let me ask you. In our community, we have a lot of entrepreneurs, small businesses. What do you think? How do you think they can be benefited by what it is that you guys do? And
well, I would say
anything that. Go ahead.
So you benefited by the things the counties are doing?
Or is there some kind of vehicle that they can use to help them as small business people or entrepreneurs? I guess that's what I'm.
So one thing would be very important is the Chester County Economic Development Council, which we use to kind of network between the business community, small and large and medium. Fill out the survey that they have on their website so that we can take those results, go to Congress, go to our legislators and say, hey, this is what Chester County needs to get back on their feet. Joining our weekly or biweekly calls to business leaders and filling out those surveys when they go out, because we're right now lobbying all of our representatives, Congress people to help us, give us the things that we need. And we want to help our small businesses first, those folks that are most likely to be affected negatively by this pandemic. We want to see them get back on their feet as quickly as possible. So letting us know what they need is the first step to making that happen.
That is the key word, what you just said. And sometimes I try to articulate to the community that you have to contact those in the legislation, those who are in authority, to let them know that you have a situation. Sometimes that's the only way you can get it solved. You cannot sit back and complain. And I mean, you just can't. We gotta come out of the box and take it the next step. Now, I'm going to encourage everybody who just heard your suggestion to take that survey, and do what it is, and start meeting you guys, start sending paperwork to you guys about what it is that you want, what you need, what you feel, the whole 9 yards. You know what I mean? That's the step. That's the step. I know a lot of people be on the paper chase. Now I'm just talking what farms do. A lot of us be on the paper chase, chasing money and things of that nature. But it's also, we have to build ourselves up through the legislator, through laws, through programming and things of that nature. Then you can really make this thing happen. It doesn't work in a vacuum. But that's all I got about that. Let me see if there's any other questions out here. Okay, Iris says, if someone is affected by the virus, is their employers obligated by the government to pay them while they are out of work? Good question, Iris.
Can you see, Fonz, do you mind? Can you repeat that for me?
Yeah. If someone is affected by the virus, is their employers obligated by the government to pay them while they are out of work?
I don't, that's one of the tragedies of kind of our law right now, that if there's a certain segment of our population, hourly workers, folks without contracts who, upon getting sick or not having enough sick day, may not have to be paid if they're sick with COVID-19. Right now, those folks are able to apply for things like unemployment benefits and may hold that way. But what that really means is that we need universal paid sick leave in Pennsylvania for all folks who are working, who might have to come down with an illness and need that income to pay the rent. So I would encourage, if you're in that situation, go to the unemployment website that I spoke about earlier and email to Fonz, and then lobby your state representatives, because we need universal sick pay in Pennsylvania.
That's good. Okay, now my question, where do you see us in 4 or 5 years here in Coatesville? What is your vision?
Thriving. Best shock in the world. We have, I think there is people who understand Coatesville understand that it has more love and affection in that 2 square mile radius than just about anywhere in the world. And that's a great place to be, to live. There are people in sections of the state where you don't know your neighbors and you're not tracking what's going on. You're not looking after your neighbors' kids. Coatesville is the kind of place where people are looking out for each other, I'd say much more than most communities. And as the economic wave starts to move west out from Philadelphia, passing Westchester, passing Kennett Square, passing Phoenixville, passing Downtown, Coatesville is the place that's going to rise the furthest. I know that we were on the phone with the Secretary of Transportation just today, talking about getting the Coatesville train station construction going by the end of the year, lobbying to make sure that there are no delays related to COVID-19 and that project still moves along. We've committed $1 million towards the parking structure there. I know the RDA is looking at options for the flats tomorrow night and hearing presentations, making sure it's a competitive process and the best project wins. But we all want to see, Coatesville has amazing architecture, the best history of just about any community in Southeast Pennsylvania, and more love and people with big hearts than about any place I've ever been. And so I'm very optimistic about what that community is doing and where it's going to be.
Good stuff. Allie Holmes wants to know, where are our COVID testing?
So right now, Chester County has COVID-19 tests with healthcare providers such as Tower Health, Penn Medicine, Mainline Health, LabCorp, Quest, and folks like that. So anybody who can get a doctor to sign off on a certificate can go to Tower Health or any of those providers and get a test. I think Chester County Hospital even has one set up outside, and the federal government has mandated that these folks can't charge for the tests, I believe. So the tests are available right now, but you need a certificate to get it, and that's because the federal CDC guidelines, as a way of protecting, I guess, the test from being widely distributed, only gives them to folks who a doctor signs off on. However, we spoke with our healthcare providers and agreed that the Chester County Health Department can also provide the certification. So you can call the Chester County Health Department over the phone if you have symptoms, have an exposure, something like that. Get that certificate you need, and then go to a provider and get a test. We are working very hard, competing against New York and California to get more tests to Chester County so that we can test more widely. But right now, we do have enough tests to test people with symptoms, and our providers have enough tests to test anybody who has a doctor sign off.
So Josh, now, from what I understand, a minority neighborhoods are affected more. There's no doubt about that. So my question is, by transportation and all these things being a problem in our inner city, wouldn't it be advantageous to have some sort of testing site, like they have the drive-in testing sites or something in our community somewhere? Because I hear what you said. I don't even know where those places are. I do know where Chester County Hospital is, but a place that's closer to our community where this thing is getting ready to explode if people don't start adhering to the safety precautions. You know what I mean? One was last week, now we got 9 this week. It's only going to balloon from there. So answer me that. Will it ever be something that you think will be low?
Yes. So right
As far
now,
as testing.
as of today, there are 9 positive cases in the city of Coatesville. South Coatesville has 3. Valley Township has 4 cases right now, and it's just moving kind of west through the county. And so we have a plan to do that. We just need the tests. So we have reached out to people who can provide tests, private companies, in sourcing that. And if we can get those tests in the door to Chester County, our plan is to provide testing in the city of Coatesville and some other areas in Chester County that have a large population that might not otherwise be able to get to a testing site like Chester County Hospital. And we're talking to folks like Marion Health and organizations like that who have the capacity in the city to host something like that. It's just getting the test here and allowing the county government to administer that. And we've been working for, I think, just under 4 weeks on trying to get tests here. They're tough to get, but we're optimistic, meaning that we're told that we should be receiving them soon. But I don't want to promise anything in case something happens.
Here's a question from our city council president, Linda Lavender Norris. She's asking, is the county looking to start some walk-up testing sites?
Yes, we have a plan in place. We just need to get the tests in the door. We've talked to James, and we've talked with other people in the city, Marion Health, Vanessa, and we just need to get the tests in the door and be authorized to do those tests, and we start that process.
Here's something from one of your best buddies, Jackie Alameen. She wants to know, what about people that don't have insurance? How will they be tested? Yeah,
so we provide the test for free. The county is being reimbursed by the federal government. We applied for $90 million in funding today. We hope to get that through the door and utilize that money to do free testing for Chester County residents, all Chester County residents.
That is good stuff. Good stuff. That's some good information. Let me see. Do we have anything else out there from anybody? Look like you get off easy this evening. So, Josh, let me ask you a question. Is there anything you would like to share with the members of the community before we call it a night? And I definitely appreciate you coming on. But is there any words of encouragement, anything that's coming down the pike that you would like to share that we may not know about, or that you may just want to share with us?
I would say take your temperature. If you have a fever, you want to know right away. It's okay to take your temperature 3 times a day. It doesn't cost anything. I take my temperature, I have my thermostat right here, my thermometer rather, right here. Take it all the time. If you have a fever, call your healthcare provider or call the Chester County Health Department if you don't have a provider, and go get a COVID-19 test, because we want to make sure you're as safe as possible. Right now, it's all about practicing social distancing, not spreading this. And if we do that, I think we're going to be in good shape in a couple of weeks. However, we need to make sure that we're not spreading this to our vulnerable populations, and that's people in retirement communities, people who have health concerns, and people that might not otherwise know that they have this. So social distancing, wash your hands, check to see if you have a fever, and if you have a fever, make sure you get tested right away. And if you have any questions, just Facebook message me, call me, email me, and I'll try to get you connected.
Guys, look, I hope this is the last time we get together, man. I think this is a great way to get together. You know, sometimes there's there's a saying, I forgot who said, I think it was Rahm Emanuel. He said, never let a crisis go to waste. And because of this crisis, it opened up this kind of way that you can reach out to the community and without leaving your home. Evidently, it's a big hit because I see a lot of questions. I see a lot of people scrolling through here, man. So I really appreciate you taking the time out of your evening, allowing us in your home to do what it is we're doing. And I hope this isn't the last time. Can you tell the people in the community this won't be your last time?
Oh, I'm there anytime you invite me, Fonz. You know that. I love Coatesville. I love Coatesville.
Good enough, good enough. I appreciate you, man. We're gonna call tonight. As I always say, man, I want you to have a great day. You can sign off. I'm gonna say a few more words to my viewers, and we're gonna talk soon, okay?
See you, buddy.
God bless you, man.
How about you?
All right now. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. That is the maiden voyage for having two people on. And this is my first time doing the Zoom with two people. So I'm thanking you for your patience and everything. I hope you've gotten something out of this meeting. Even though we're going through this crisis, man, my hope springs eternal, and I hope yours will as well.